AEONS, the most mysterious beings in the cosmos. Right when we think we know all there is to know about these celestial manifestations of imaginary energy, they do something weird that forces us to rethink everything. Yes, the time has come for another episode in this series. With a new patch releasing today, all that I can say has already been said, and at least one of my theories have already been proven at least partially right. But we still have some unfinished business. That being the series that predates Plain Arcadia that I started a year ago. An ambitious series where I made it my mission to break down each and every single Aeon in Honkai Star Rail. And today we are talking about the Aeon that I hate the most. Because in today's video we are going to dive straight into Xipe, the Harmony. The three-faced Aeon that does as much harm as they do good. Dressing up as an innocent and peaceful Aeon of joy and unity, all while in reality being a domineering force with emanators similar to Lord Ravager's aiming to take down other Aeons. So without further ado, this is Honkai Star Rail Aeon Ascensions Explained. Viewer polls today, apply for It's Too Late, 4.4 story playthrough tomorrow, lots of fun, do not miss it, onto the video. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is simple. I go in alphabetical order to talk about how the Aeon ascended, what they do, how they interact with other Aeons, and what this means for the universe as a whole. So let's get into this, shall we? None other than the Spirit in 3, the thousand-faced Great One and the triple-faced Soul, Xipe, the Harmony, my favorite Aeon. And I say that because I don't like Xipe due to how confusing this Aeon is and how many rules they just break. For example, Xipe is said to have ascended from multiple worlds, meaning that Xipe is not just one individual who ascended into an Aeon like, I don't know, every single other Aeon, but Xipe is multiple people and quite fittingly is called the plural Aeon, though we don't exactly know what worlds they came from. And by multiple, I mean thousands. There are thousands of people that Xipe just ascended from at the same time. Yes, if you thought that Aha was everyone, Xipe was thousands of people upon ascending, and is quite more than likely more now. Because the way that Xipe works is that they are not just an Aeonic being. They are also each and every single one of their own emanators, who are individuals that ascend and become embodiments of Xipe. And these emanators are called the harmonic strings, that come in 4 variations: Alienev, Dominicus, Constantina, and Beatriz, representing punishment, wishing, singing, and merrymaking. And I know what you're thinking, yes, this does foreshadow some conflicts with the elation, we will get to that later. Because judging by the encounter that we had with Dominicus, the harmonic strings are strong. Very strong. With Dominicus being able to rewrite the laws of the entire Asdana star system. And that is just one Dominicus, because so far as we know, there are more than one of each harmonic string. We know this because even though Alienev was killed by Nanook and became Selenova, Sunday says that the family won't bother to sick the internal Centurion on him because it's not meant to fight a single individual. So we know that there is another one out there that still exists, and when the harmony exists, there is never just one. Which brings us to, what exactly does Xipe do? According to the database, they preach the joy of human harmony and unity. And I want you to notice, it says human, which is why I call Xipe the racist Aeon. They don't care about Intellitrons or various other species out there in the cosmos, exclusively human harmony and unity. I just want to call attention to that. And they do this by passive domination, not harmonizing with other people, no, drowning out all other tunes so that everyone harmonizes to them, forming what they call the family.
Whether you believe it or not, this is the real me. We are one.
Is this the unity that the family espouses?
A hive mind of branching families that all worship Xipe and work as one. Much like Full Wish and her happiness syntax, the family believes that all they need is happiness and smiles, never conflict or disputes. Which is why I call it a hive mind that is concerningly similar to Full Wish and the Research Society of Happy Smiles. And Xipe's overarching goal is to force every world to harmonize with their tune, which is why they are one of the 4 paths of finality that Kafka mentioned a while back. They are an underlying threat that sounds harmless at first, but might actually be the most dangerous path in reality. And this is due to how they interact with other Aeons. Because Xipe does not stop at harmonizing worlds. They also harmonize all other Aeons, with Enna the Order being one of their known victims. And yes, we know one Aeon eating another one is scary, but what is even more concerning is that Enna is said by Herta to have a very wide path. So assimilating Enna into Xipe could not have been an easy task. But for this even to be a possibility in the first place, one path has to be wider than the other one in order for one to assimilate the other one. So Xipe's path must be enormous and even bigger now than it was back then. Meaning that the Aeon is also one of the strongest. A fact that is corroborated by the fact that every single member of the family is a Harmony Pathstrider, making Xipe even stronger because the amount of Pathstriders an Aeon has also contributes to their strength and how wide their path is. But what is so terrifying about the Harmony is that they do not stop trying to assimilate other Aeons. They are still trying now. As you may have noticed, each and every single harmonic string is aimed at an Aeon. Alienev, the Eternal Centurion, is aimed at destruction. Their job is punishment, and Nanook knew this and set their sights on stealing one of them for themselves, bringing Selenova into existence. Nanook was able to transform Alienev into Selenova because their paths already intersect in that way. And this isn't the only one at all, no. Dominicus was aimed at the Order, and they actually did their job, which is why the harmonic string was summoned when Sunday tried to resurrect Enna. The concepts are already similar as it is. Enna responds to wishes, and Dominicus does as well. Constantina, the singer of the Pentacoustic Theater, could also be aimed at veracity due to void song whales being a species of Leviathan and Pathstriders of the veracity. Ouroboros is also known to have this siren song type of ability that lures in prey. So the veracity similarities are also concerningly clear. But what really caught my eye was Beatriz, the merrymaker of the Blissful Ball, who was clearly aimed at elation. So not only does the family work like people under the effects of happiness syntax, but Xipe has an entire emanator archetype aimed at merrymaking, a clear intersection with the path of elation. And we know how seriously Aha takes these things, because if Aha stole the concept of taste from Ouroboros because it intersected with elation, Beatriz must be Aha's best friend, ripe for the stealing. Why? Because we already know how much Aha loves to steal things, and they do not care if it is a concept or an emanator either. Remember, each and every single world that the Phantasm Moon games takes place on has an emanator of abundance on it, has an abundance tree on it, meaning that there is an Evanescia type of being on every single planet with Ouroboros' remains in it, because Aha is using the trees to seal the Ouroboros' remains. Aha just stole that many emanators of abundance, or at least that's what's implied. So what would stop Aha from noticing this clear intrusion into their paths concept? nothing. Which is why I say that this foreshadows a future conflict with Elation. In an effort to dominate other paths, it looks like Xipe sends out their harmonic strings, in a very similar way than Nanook does with their Lord Ravagers, each one mirroring a path, attempting to turn that path into the destruction or harmony in Xipe's case. And as we can see, it looks like Dominicus was successful. Anna was harmonized. I can't exactly see how, and it couldn't have been easy, but this is just food for thought for now because apparently the Stellarons are also tied to Xipe, which don't exactly make complete sense because they are the antithesis of anything harmonious, unless it is an unintentional result of Xipe's harmony energy trying to dominate other paths and absorbing other path energies until it becomes a chaotic ball of imaginary energy that is so unstable that it causes catastrophes. But that's just a theory of mine, because according to what we actually know, only the family and Madame Herta know how to properly seal Stellarons. Not even Lygus knew how to seal a Stellaron because he tried and Cyrene happened. So the harmony does have to have something to do with the Stellarons, which is why Selenova is so fascinated with them due to her past of being a harmonic string. So the harm in harmony is very clear in my opinion. This Aeon is aiming to cause so many problems, and if all goes wrong or right in their case, it will result in the death of the universe by telepathic hive mind of domination and the loss of all free will. And this is all if their harmonic strings don't start an Aeon war due to how close they are to other paths as it is, because they are uncomfortably close to Lord Ravagers when you look closely into what they do. Just like Iron Tomb tried to turn erudition into meaning destruction by proving that the prime mover of life was destruction, Dominicus was able to turn the concept of the order into the harmony and get Anna eaten by Xipe. So we really gotta watch Xipe and their harmonic strings. They're out here causing problems and I don't really know what to think about it. But that is just about everything we know about Xipe for now. Because this is Honkai Star Rail Aeon Ascensions Explained. Yeah, at first this was going to be a finale with me talking about Xipe and Yaoshi in the same video, but I just forgot how much we actually know about Xipe and the similarities between the harmonic strings and the Lord Ravagers and wanting to take down other paths and Aeons. Really just kinda happened as I was writing the script. Seriously, they are really close. Most emanators that Aeons have just represent their path, but the harmonic strings are mirroring other paths so closely, it has to be intentional, right? This is definitely something I will have to keep an eye on, and I might have something more to say about this in the future. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.